and while my assailant struggled to break me from the line, I formed a protection circle in my thoughts. Practice makes perfect, I thought smugly, then braced myself. This was going to hurt like hell. I opened my thoughts to the ley line with an abandon I'd never dared before. And it came. Magic roared in. It overflowed my chi and poured into my body, burning my synapses and neurons. Tulpa, I thought in agony, the word opening the mental channels to spindle the energy. The rush would have killed me if I hadn't already burned a trail of nerves from my chi to my mind. Groaning, I felt the power sear anew as it raced to the protection circle in my thoughts, expanding it like a balloon. It was how I spindled ley energy to use later, but at this rate it was like diving into a vat of molten metal. An internal yelp of pain resounded in me, and with a mental push that I mirrored with my hands, I shoved away from myself. A snap reverberated through me, and I was free of the unknown presence. From the church's belfry above came the sound of the bell tolling, an echo of my actions. Something rolled and bumped down the corridor to crash into the wall at the end of the hall. I gasped and pulled my head up, then groaned in pain. Moving hurt. I held too much ley line power. It felt as if it had settled in my muscles, and using them squeezed the energy out. Ow! I panted, very aware that something at the end of the hall was standing up. But at least now it wasn't in my head. My heart beat, and that hurt too. Oh, God. I'd never held this much power before, and I stank. I reeked of burnt amber. What the turn was going on? With a pained determination, I squeezed the protection circle in my mind until the energy slipped back through my chi and into the ley line. It hurt almost as much as taking it in, but when I unspindled the ever after from my thoughts to leave only that which my chi could hold, I looked up past the snarls of my hair, panting. Oh, God. It was Newt. "What are you doing here?" I said, feeling coated in ever-after slime. The powerful demon looked confused, but I was still too out of things to appreciate its shocked expression. Either a smooth-faced adolescent boy or a strong-featured female. Slender of build, it stood barefoot in my hallway between the kitchen and the living room, squinting. I looked again. Yeah, the demon was standing this time, not floating, its long, bony feet definitely pressing the floorboards. And I wondered how Newt had managed to attack me when I was on hallowed ground. The addition to the church, where it stood now, wasn't sanctified, though, and it looked bewildered, wearing a dark red robe that looked somewhere between a kimono and what Lawrence of Arabia might wear on his day off. There was a soft blurring of black ley line energy, and a slender obsidian staff as tall as I was melted into existence in Newt's grasp, completing the vision I remembered from the time I had been trapped in the ever-after, and had had to buy a trip home from Newt. The demon's eyes were entirely black, even what should be the whites, but they were more alive than any I'd ever seen as they stared at me unblinking down the 20 feet that separated us. 20 tiny feet and a swath of hallowed ground. At least I hoped it was still hallowed ground. "How did you learn to do that?" it said, and I stiffened at the odd accent, the vowels that seemed to insert themselves into the folds of my brain. "Al?" I whispered, and the demon's almost non-existent eyebrows rose, shoulder against the wall. I never took my eyes from it as I slid upward to stand. This was not the way I wanted to start my day. God help me, I'd only been asleep for an hour by the looks of the light. "What's the matter with you? You can't just show up," I exclaimed, trying to burn off some adrenaline as I stood in the hallway, still in the skimpy shirt and shorts I wore to bed. "No one summoned you. And how could you stand on hallowed ground? Demons can't stand on sacred ground. It's in every book." "I do what I want?" Newt peered into the living room, poking the staff over the threshold as if looking for traps. "And assumptions like that will kill you," the demon added, adjusting the strand of black gold that glinted dully against the midnight red of its robe. "I wasn't standing on hallowed ground. You were. And Mineas said I wrote most of those books, so who knows how right they are." Its smooth features melted into annoyance at itself, not me. "Sometimes I don't remember the past right," Newt said, its voice distant. "Or maybe they simply change it and don't tell me. My face went cold.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.